Vidovich followed suit, grumbling, and they started walking. Past a noodle shop, a laundrette, a 7-Eleven. They went unnoticed. There were others about in jackets with collars turned up on this cool mid-September evening. The motel units were in an L shape, with the office at one end, near the street entrance. A solitary camera covered the office, a token effort, as if management believed nothing ever happened in the units. No overdoses, rapes, murders, assaults, or heist planning. Wyatt and Vidovich slipped onto the property where the shadows were deepest, then around the edge of a cyclone fence that divided the motel from a block of flats. The lighting was dim, barely illuminating the sea mist. Water dripped. Droplets fell onto Wyatt's sleeves from a couple of miserable shrubs. Unit 18, a white Camry parked nose up to it. Wyatt paced around the rear half of the car, and, sure enough, there was a rental company sticker on the window. He stared at the unit, unwilling to go in. The situation had been dodgy from the start. Still, maybe the Pepper brothers had had the sense to use false names? Vidovich, reading Wyatt's mind, said, "Mate, they know what they're doing." He walked up to the door and knocked. So Wyatt slid his hand into his jacket pocket, where his little 32 was almost warm from the heat of his body. Comforting. He stood back in the shadows, seeking more comfort. Instinct. Wyatt might have called it good sense if he'd been pressed to explain himself. He watched Vidovich, watched the door open and spill light, watched Vidovich turn and gesture to him. "It's okay, pal. Come in." Vidovich and Wyatt were cut from the same slab. Tall, angular, wary, but there was a hint of desperation in Vidovich these days. The Pepper brothers were formed from softer stuff. Barely 30, with earrings and designer stubble framing pink, inexperienced faces. Sharp suits over open-necked shirts. Young masters of the universe. Jack Pepper stood in the center of the room, his younger brother sprawled on the bed. They were consultants when they weren't staging hold-ups, Vidovich had said on the way down from the hills. He shrugged and grimaced when Wyatt asked, "Consultants in what?" There were no handshakes. Each brother offered a languid wave. Then Jack Pepper poured 4 glasses of scotch, pouring for Wyatt even as Wyatt said no. The man was hyper, the little eyes in his round face shooting sparks of glee. "Cheers," he toasted Wyatt. "You come recommended." Wyatt's face didn't move. "By Stefan, here," Pepper continued, indicating Vidovich, as if Wyatt were a little slow. Wyatt nodded. He assessed the room. Queen-size bed, cabinets on either side of the headboard, a bench with a massive TV on it, tiny table and 2 chairs, ensuite bathroom. Apart from a blotch of art on the wall above the bed, that was it. He took one of the chairs, positioned it between the door and the only window, and sat, facing trouble, backing onto an escape route. Either way. He waited, still and silent. A snort from the man stretched out on the bed. "Get this guy!" Leon Pepper was fatter in the face than his brother, and not immediately the clever one. "We're one short," Wyatt said. Jack Pepper looked at his watch. "Yeah, well, Syed's a bit time-challenged sometimes. Right, Lee?" Leon sniggered. He wriggled until his back was propped against the bedhead, his meaty thighs distorting the fine wool that enclosed them. His shoes had left streaks on the bedspread. "Syed," Wyatt said. "Syed Ijaz," Jack Pepper said. "Knows cars and that. How to pinch them. How to drive them. And how to take a taxi to a planning session." Wyatt heard the rumble of tyres outside the window, a door slamming. He peered through the glass, in time to see the taxi back away from number 18, the driver turning on his for-hire light. A skinhead shuffled past the Avis Camry. Wyatt went immediately to the door and jerked it open before the man named Ijaz could knock. "Get in here." "Who the fuck are you?" Wyatt ran his gaze over the blighted parking lot, the street at the other end, the misty cars passing in the night. A dim, dank, peaceful, hopeless evening. He shut the door and returned to his chair, watched the newcomer bump fists with the Pepper brothers, noted the slight amplification of his movements. Ijaz nodded a wary hello to Stefan Vidovich, who eyed Wyatt nervously. Knowing Wyatt. Jack Pepper said, "Wyatt, meet Syed." Wyatt